Aloha, and welcome to A Course in Miracles, the Workbook for Students, Lesson 133. I will not value what is valueless. Yesterday we were talking about I lose the world from all I thought it was. And then the day before that we were talking about the idea no one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. And we've been talking about reaching this other world, the world that has no opposites, the world that we're letting go of the false world in order to see. And so we're looking at some more helps, practical things that we can do to let go of this world and to experience the real world. So, I will not value what is valueless. It's the lesson for today. Sometimes in teaching there's a benefit, particularly after you have gone through what seems theoretical and far from what the student has already learned, to bring him back to practical concerns, and this we will do today. We'll not speak of lofty, world-encompassing ideas, but dwell instead on benefits to you. So we're going to get very practical today. And I love this statement right here. You do not ask too much of life, but far too little. When you let your mind be drawn to bodily concerns, to things you buy, to eminences valued by the world, you ask for sorrow, not for happiness. This course does not attempt to take from you the little that you have. It doesn't try to substitute utopian ideas for satisfactions which the world contains. There are no satisfactions in the world. There are no satisfactions in the world. Today we list the real criteria by which to test all things you think you want. Unless they meet these sound requirements, they are not worth desiring at all, for they can but replace what offers more. The law that governs choice you cannot make, no more than you can make alternatives from which to choose. The choosing you can do, and indeed you must, but it is wise to learn the laws you set in motion when you choose, and what alternatives that you actually choose between. So we're going to learn about what we're really choosing today and what are our alternatives. We have already stressed that there are but two, however many there appear to be. The range is set, and this we cannot change. It would be most ungenerous to you to let alternatives be limitless and thus delay your final choice until you had considered all of them in time and not been brought so clearly to the place where there is but one choice that must be made. And this one choice is to choose God, to choose our true self, to choose to accept the atonement for ourselves. And that's the one choice. To choose to experience the truth that the separation has never occurred. Okay, so another kindly and related law is that there is no compromise of what your choice must bring. So there's only two choices, and the second law is there's no compromise to what our choice brings. It cannot give you just a little, for there is no in-between. Each choice you make brings everything to you, or it brings nothing to you. Therefore, if you learn the test by which you can distinguish everything from nothing, you will make a better choice. So here's the test: how to distinguish between what brings us everything and what brings us nothing. Here's the test. First, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. A temporary value is without all value. And that's all we really have here in this world, is temporary values. And remember that we're going to not let our mind be drawn to bodily concerns. So bodily concerns are a lot of, if something is going to help us bodily, a lot of our choices as to whether that thing or that choice is valuable is set on bodily concerns. And the body is only temporary, and the advantages that are brought to the body are only temporary. So a temporary value, it says, is without all value, because it's going to be gone. You can't count on it, right? Time can never take away the value, however, of what is real. What fades and dies was never there. And this includes the body. And it makes no offering to him who chooses it. He is deceived by nothing in a form that he thinks that he likes. Next, if you choose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. So now we're talking about taking away from someone else. And if that's part of our choice, if it takes something or seems to take something from someone else, then all we've really done is denied it for ourselves. This is because the reason you'll have nothing left if you take something from someone else is because when you deny that person's right to everything, you've denied your own right to everything. You therefore will not recognize the things that you really have. Denying they are there. Who seeks to take away has been deceived by the illusion that loss can offer gain. That someone else's loss is my gain. Yet loss must offer loss and nothing more. Your next consideration is the one on which the others rest. Why is the choice you make of value to you? What attracts your mind to it? What purpose does it serve? Here it is easiest of all to be deceived. What purpose does it serve? For what the ego wants it fails to recognize. It does not even tell the truth as it perceives it, for it needs to keep the halo which it uses to protect its goals from tarnish and from rust, that you may see how innocent it is. Yet it's camouflage, a thin veneer which could deceive but those who are content to be deceived. Its goals are obvious to anyone who cares to look for them. Here is deception doubled, for the one who is deceived will not perceive that he has merely failed to gain. He will believe that he has served the ego's hidden goals. Yet though he tries to keep its halo clear within his vision, still must he perceive its tarnished edges and its rusted core. His ineffectual mistakes appear as sins to him because he looks upon the tarnish as his own. He looks upon the ego's tarnish as his own tarnish, and the rust a sign of his deep unworthiness within himself. He who would still preserve the ego's goals and serve them as his own makes no mistakes according to the dictates of his guide. The guidance teaches it is error to believe that sins are but mistakes. For who would suffer for his sins if this is so? And so we come to the criterion for choice that is the hardest to believe, because its obviousness is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. If you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goals to come between the real alternatives. And thus you do not realize that there are but two. The alternative you think you choose seems fearful and too dangerous to be the nothingness it actually is. So that's the last of the criteria. If you feel guilt about the choice you've made, then you have allowed the ego's goals come between the real alternatives. And the ego wants us to feel guilty and to feel fear. All things are valuable or valueless, worthy or not of being sought after, entirely desirable or not worth the slightest effort to obtain. Choosing is easy just because of this. Complexity is nothing but a screen of smoke which hides the very simple fact that no decision can be difficult. So what is the gain to you in learning this? It is far more than merely letting you make choices easily and without pain. Heaven itself is reached with empty hands and open minds, which come with nothing to find and everything to claim it as their own. So we will attempt to reach this state today, with self-deception laid aside, with an honest willingness to value but the truly valuable and the real. Our 2 extended practice periods of 15 minutes will begin with this. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has value do I seek, for only that do I desire to find. So this is what we're learning, the practical thing today, to help us to make the right decision of not something that is valueless, spending all of our time worrying about something that has no value. And it says if we do pick those, the things that are valued by the world that are valueless, all we are asking for, it said, is if when you let your mind be drawn to bodily concerns, which are valueless because they don't last forever, you ask for sorrow, not for happiness. And we're just asking for something to replace something that is much better, which is eternal. Eternal. What is eternal? Love is eternal. Truth is eternal. Our true self is eternal. The real world is eternal. And so we're beginning here to start to learn how to choose by comparing it to is it valuable or is it valueless? And that's our lesson for today. And then we receive what waits for everyone who reaches unencumbered to the gate of heaven, which swings open as he comes. And should you begin to let yourself collect some needless burdens, or believe you see some difficult decisions facing you, be quick to answer with this simple thought: I will not value what is valueless, for what is valuable belongs to me. So today, let's learn this practical lesson, these practical lessons on how to tell when something is valuable or valueless. Does it last forever? And remembering that each choice, the law that with each choice, we have two alternatives. We're asking for everything, or we're asking for nothing. And if we ask for something that doesn't last forever, it's valueless. And even if we think it has a temporary value, it still is valueless, unless it's eternal. So this is a beginning of recognizing that some things that we put all this value into are really valueless. And how do we really tell what do we really want? Knowing that we're asking for everything or nothing, valuable or valueless, and being able to know what these things are will help us to choose that which is valuable. So it's a really practical lesson today. So spend this time 2 times today, 15 minutes, 2 extended practice periods, to allow the Holy Spirit to really shift our minds into wanting only what has value and desiring to find only what has value. And those are our lessons today. And God bless you. The Holy Spirit be with you and teach you. And have a wonderful day today. And thank you for spending this time with me. And I will see you tomorrow. Aloha.